We're learning more about the shooter, or the suspected shooter of Charlie Kirk, who assassinated him and who is in custody. And I'll get to Kash Patel. There's been a lot of criticism, as I told you yesterday, of his handling of this case, the FBI director, and how it's reminding us of a deeper problem at the FBI, where he's been pushing forward these political purges that work well on social media but aren't good in pushing out career law enforcement professionals in the interest of red meat to the base, but not in the interest of safety or investigatory effectiveness. And so we'll get to that interview where he does a little bit of damage control on that. But first, the Washington Post is reporting the 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat shortly before turning himself in to law enforcement. Quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all," said Tyler Robinson on the online platform Discord. "It was me at UVA yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." So as we get a sense of the case, there were concerns with Kash Patel, his stumbles and the problems in the investigation that took place could end up serving the defense here. If this is substantiated, then this will be a really strong part in the case, obviously, that there was a confession, not to law enforcement, but to his friends on Discord the day after Charlie Kirk was killed. An acquaintance of Tyler Robinson posed a question to him in a group chat, essentially seeing the photo of him and saying, "Where you at?" with a skull emoji, suggesting that Mr. Robinson looked like the man being sought. At that point, Robinson replied within a minute saying his doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble. "Tyler killed Charlie," another user wrote, apparently in jest. And then later, as I said, it seems from this reporting in the Washington Post that at least to the people he was chatting with on Discord, there was some form of a confession. Then before getting to the more damage control part from Kash Patel, you do have him also mentioning some form of a, not manifesto, but a letter that was destroyed, but they have it. Kind of confusing messaging here from Patel.
Written note, did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say, if you could share?
So what I'm able to say, I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is, I addressed it partially earlier, is that the written note, we believe, what did exist, and we have evidence to show what was in that note, which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, "I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location, in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of the note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
So if that's substantiated as well, it seems a stronger and stronger case is being built, which is good news, especially in the face of fears that Patel had bumbled different aspects to this. I do have to just say, I'm sure they'll be able to ultimately get legal, conviction, but I don't feel good in a moment of a national horror having Kash Patel at the top of the FBI. I can just say that. Seeing his focus on retribution with inside the agency and pushing out a lot of the people who had the best expertise in moments like this, it has not felt comforting seeing him speaking to the public. To be honest with you, here's him trying to explain that, okay, when he said that they had the guy, but they didn't, that was a little bit of a... Ooh.
24 hours after, when we were still looking for the guy, I know you posted that we got him. And that ended up not being true. You took some incoming because of that. What led to you posting that? Why did you feel so certain about it? And what do you have to say about the criticism?
No, I appreciate this opportunity. Look, as I stated, I was being transparent with working with the public on our findings as I had them. I stated in that message that we had a subject and that we were going to interview him, and we did, and he was released. The job of the FBI is not just to manhunt the actual suspect who did the killing or suspects, but it's also to eliminate targets and eliminate subjects who are not involved in the process. And that's what we were doing. Could I have worded it a little better in the heat of the moment? Sure. But do I regret putting it out? Absolutely not. I was telling the world what the FBI was doing as we were doing.
Well, I think he said something that was wrong, which was the problem. But okay, it was corrected and stuff like this that people were just wincing at a little bit because it seemed to be his reaction to conservative columnists and conservative voices being really upset, even as well as we've been upset with Kash Patel for some time now, but actually people on his side a little bit worried about his leadership there. And so then he was saying, but we caught the guy so quickly. And I was like, yeah, good. But that was his dad turned him in.
You're absolutely right, and that's why me and the deputy have been quarterbacking this investigation ourselves. There is no one at the FBI that is going to politicize this investigation. There's no one at Quantico or anywhere else that is going to say we are not looking at X or Y. We are looking at the facts, and that is why we are releasing the facts in record fashion. If you go back and look at historical cases like Luigi Mangione and the Boston bombing, how long did it take the Bureau to release information to the public? We're not doing that. Those two manhunts took 5 days, and they happened in downtown major metropolises. We apprehended our suspect in 33 hours because we were transparent and open with the American public, and we're going to continue to do that.
Because his family turned him in, but yes, he ultimately got caught. So I think that's his energy is kind of noticeable, and I think a part of it is him hearing the criticism even from his own side that we've been levying now for some time.